Hi guys, so I promised you a highlight reel on interviewing skills, so that's what I'm going to do right now. There's a whole raft of things that I could cover around getting a job, like cover letter, CV, mindset, interviewing skills, which is a huge section, right down to how you answer the questions, how you turn negatives into positives, all of that stuff. If you want to know more than what I'm going to give you here, because there's only a limited amount of things that I can tell you in one highlight reel, then by all means private message me, and I'd love to, and feel free to book me in for a coaching session, and I'd love to spend say 3 hours with you, and we can go through coaching on everything right through from your CV, your cover letter, what that says, right through to mindset, interviewing questions, the kinds of questions they're likely to ask you, but also body language. So I'm going to touch on today body language, and then I'm going to get into just a simple step to answering questions for interviews. So firstly, let's have a look at body language. So when firstly I've put on a jacket, like a business jacket, and make sure that you've got comfortable shoes, not, how do I explain it? Just shoes that are a little bit more, think of professional, I like to think, one of the guidelines that I tend to use is like airline stuff. So if you think about how well dressed they are, then that's always a good guide to what you should wear, like certainly not jandals or flip-flops or too sandally sandals. I don't know, summer beach wear, not really good, but some really nice corporate sort of shoes. Secondly is don't wear skirts that are too short, or tops, even this top is too low, so it should hardly have any cleavage, and that's probably a good guide. And a jacket, a business jacket's really good, and you can get some lightweight summer ones, but it always is better with a jacket on, depending on the job that you're going for, of course. I've got the phone far away so that I can do some body language stuff with my hands, so bear with me. So yeah, so just think about business dress, but it depends on what you're going for. If you're going for a warehousing job where you're never likely to wear a suit, then you should wear smart casual, so wear sort of like black trowel and a professional looking top and some flat shoes that are dressy, but not too not skanky. I hope that gives you some indicator anyway, but that's always good. But I've not anything that's got right low cleavage, really bad, because it just looks skanky, and too short, skanky. So people don't, you're there to, don't let that speak louder than you do. So just make sure that's like a blank canvas, because the way that you present yourself in the interview is what the most important thing is. So the way that you give eye contact, the way that you position your body is all really important. So that's what I'm going to cover next. So eye contact is something that is talked about a lot, actually, because culturally, in some cultures, eye contact's not a good thing, because a lowering of the eyes is a sign of respect. So understanding that as an interview is really important. But besides that, when you're being interviewed, what I do say is it's important to anchor yourself to the interviewer, so through your eyes. So keeping, being able to make good solid eye contact is a really good, really powerful thing. So being available with your eyes is a really important thing. The second thing is with your body. So think about boxed control body language. So that's sitting like this. So if you're sitting at a desk, having your hands like this or like this when you're explaining things, really nice, controlled, calm, sitting upright. So what I'm doing is I look like I'm relaxed, but I'm in control. I'm not too relaxed, and I'm not too eager for the job. So being careful you don't do this. And so making sure that when you do with your hands that you've got them relaxed, open, or flat on the table, or flat on your legs, so that you're not crossing your body, so that you're not looking defensive, so that you're not fidgeting with your hands either. So even sitting just relaxed like that is a really good stance too, so that it's not, you're not clenching. What this means is, please give me the job, begging for the job. So try and keep your hands really relaxed. So if I was going to clasp my fingers, I'd have them relaxed and open, and I might even use them to talk like that, so that they don't give away any telltale signs. And the other thing too is to mirror their body language. So if they're sitting forward, then I might sit because then we're in a really intense discussion, and then I might sit back a bit when we're sitting more relaxed and having further conversation. So it's just a little bit about body language. Then the next thing is answering questions. So when you're answering questions, oh my goodness, this is where people make me laugh sometimes when I'm interviewing. And I've interviewed for a lot of positions for clients where they've asked me to help them out with picking the right person for the certain roles. And it's so interesting. So people, what they do is they're asked a question. So tell me why you think you might be good for this role. Why I might be good for the role. Don't repeat the question, because all that does is shows that I'm trying to make something up. So it makes you look like you lack confidence. Just be quiet. Filling the gaps with noise is not good. That just shows how nervous you are. If you want to look like you're really in control, shut up and think before you answer the question. Okay, so they ask you a question, and then you say, why do you think you'd be good for the role? I know that I'd be really good for this role because after you've had a bit of time to think. Thinking is fine. They'd rather you sat and thought than you just filled it with crap. So repeating the questions, don't do that. The other thing is when you're answering a question, if they ask you what your biggest weaknesses are, which they often do, they'll ask you what your strengths are, and then they'll ask you what your weaknesses are. Or what do you think your old colleagues would say that were your weaknesses? Or what do you think your old manager might say is your weakness? Or what do you think your weaknesses are? It could come in any form of those. What I do is you don't reel off a list of weaknesses, because that's not going to sell you, is it? So what could my weaknesses be? I have been told that I'm over enthusiastic, and that can annoy some people that I work with that are quite negative. I have been told that I'm super organised, which sometimes means that I get a lot of work done quickly, which can mean that I'm struggling to find more work. So if that's a weakness, I guess that's one thing that, could be a weakness. I'm super positive, and so, that, and some people like to be, if they're griping about something, I like to turn things into a positive. And you're demonstrating that by your answer. So thinking about how you can put a positive spin on something is really, really important there. And the next technique that I'm going to teach you is the STAR technique. It's a very popular technique, and it stands for situation, task, action, and result. So it's what situation were you in, what was the task that you were asked to do, what did you do, what was the action, and what was the result. So let's just try that. Okay, so do you think you're a good planner, Jackie? Yeah, I think I'm a really good planner. I'm excellent. Okay, can you give us an example of a time when you planned something? Yeah, I can actually. I was working at Yellow Pages, and I had a huge portfolio. So this is the task. Situation was I was working at Yellow Pages. The task was I had a huge portfolio of clients that I had to get around everybody at least twice, and I had to find prospects. So I needed to manage my time in my day to do that. So what I would do is do 5 calls a day of my existing, and then I do 2 prospecting calls a day. And what that did was that helped me to achieve target, and I got over my target. So that was the result. And that's what they're looking for. They want actual situations. Don't make something up. Don't say, oh, well, I guess if you gave me a role and I had to plan something out. No, they want an actual situation. Don't make something up. Make sure it's factual. Even if it's not at work, at home, you're managing kids, getting everyone out of the house. So those of you who manage family situations, getting everybody out of the house in the morning is sometimes a huge task. My hat goes off to parents who are trying to get at least. I had one child, and just getting her out of the house sometimes was just really hard. I can remember times dropping her off to her Bernardo's caregiver, still in her pajamas, straight from her cot, where I just put her into a car seat and got her off there because I had to drop her off at 6:30 in order to get to work, to run a full day, and then get back to pick her up in the evenings. My hat goes off to anyone who's even got more than one child. Oh my goodness, that's huge. And getting everybody out of the house, no small task. So talking about that in an interview, man, that's huge organisational skills. How do you plan that? Do you prep the kids before the night before so that they know what's ahead for the morning? Just little things like that. So anyway, I hope these techniques really work for you, and just practice before you go for an interview, and let me know how you get on. And if you want some one-on-one coaching, I'm available. So just DM me and we can book some time out. And I will give you a rate for sort of a 3-hour session so that we can spend some good time. One of the things that I do go through when I spend time with you is talk to you about personality styles, because understanding the potential personality style of the interviewer, that's huge. I mean, my daughter, she's been raised with this since she was little. I remember she came out of her first interview, she got in the car and she went, "Oh my goodness, Mum, he was such a bull." So she gets what person, it's ingrained as part of her now. So the beauty of that is it means that you don't take things personally. If somebody's a different style to you, you won't take it personally. If they're colder than your warmth, then you won't take it personally. You'll just totally get who they are and what they're about. And that's really important. So I can do that with you too. So yeah, book me in for some time. I look forward to talking to you soon, and good luck. Mwah.